Welcome to the Pathways to Success. I'm Julian Placino, recruiting professional turned success speaker, show host, and media entrepreneur. This show is dedicated to helping you find your unique pathway to success by having conversations that educate, inspire, and transform. Together, we'll interview some of the world's greatest leaders and uncover their secrets to success. Thanks for tuning in, and on to the show. Welcome to episode 186 of the Pathways to Success, where we help you find your unique pathway to success by having conversations that educate, inspire, and transform with the world's greatest leaders. I'm Julian Placino, your host, and we have an outstanding show for you today. Today's episode is brought to you in part by City Central. City Central offers innovative workspaces for businesses to thrive. City Central offers everything from private offices and co-working space to virtual offices and meeting rooms. City Central has 5 convenient locations in the DFW Metroplex, including North Dallas, Plano, Uptown, Richardson, and Fort Worth. If you use the promo code PATHWAYS, you'll get 50% off your first 3 months. So if you're looking for an innovative workspace for your business to thrive, visit citycentral.com for a free tour and use the promo code PATHWAYS for 50% off. So before we get started today, I definitely want to give a huge shout out to everyone here tuning into the live stream. If you're watching us on Facebook right now, do me a favor, head over to YouTube, type in my name, Julian Placino, click the live link, and join us in the live stream chat. Tell us your name and where you are coming from. So we have an outstanding featured guest for you today, and I'd like to play a short video to introduce her to you.
The fundamental choice that you have to make in your life is to choose that you will serve. I want you to reframe your mindset today about fear. Face everything and rise. The same energy it takes to think small is the same energy to think big. Your mind is a weapon. Learn from the past, but don't live in the past. You have to be courageously intentional. That's when you're willing to stretch out into unknown territories and believe that you have everything inside of you and that your mind is where greatness resides. Because if you don't elevate your mindset, you'll never be able to receive everything that God has for you. BeyondZTV.com, there are levels of destiny like rungs on the ladder.
It is my pleasure to welcome Zondra Evans, founder of the award-winning Zondra TV Network. Zondra, welcome to the Pathways to Success. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing awesome. It is so great to have you here. Shout out to Trevor Houston. Because of Behind the Curtain and who you know, this collaboration wouldn't be possible. So thank you, Trevor, if you are watching.
Yeah, thanks, Trevor. I love it. Trevor's always a resource for you, so.
He's a resource and he's a real trendsetter when it comes to media, so I'm glad that he is a mutual connection of ours.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Well, Zondra, I am fascinated with your story because, like I mentioned to you earlier, we sort of have these parallel paths from going from corporate to entrepreneurship, but specifically media entrepreneurship, and I really want to know that story. But first, you are the first, from what I understand, to have created a TV and media incubator. What is that?
I know, like, what is this TV and media incubator?
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell a little bit of a story, and the story is in I heard a voice that said, build the Zondra TV network. And I said, wow, I have 2 shows, and I'm going to have a network. That didn't seem right to me, but I'm a believer in following the voices that I hear. And then secondly, about a week later, I heard, build a TV media incubator because everything I've taught you, you're going to teach other people. And I was like, who are these other people? Now, that was in August of 2019. Nonetheless, I built a TV media incubator where it is virtual, but you're able to go through a 12-month program to learn how to become a TV producer, how to posture in the media, but not only that, how to monetize your content so that you could create another stream of income.
And who is that for? Is that for business entrepreneurs? Is it for corporate leaders? Like, who's that for?
It is for anyone. I really like small business. Now,
Yeah.
when I say small business, I mean 0 to 10. But I really like small business, but it's for any entrepreneur
Yeah.
that has a message that you want to get out, not just locally or nationally, but you want to hit global. Because that's what syndicated TV will do for you, give you a global platform.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Zondra, I want to know the genesis story. If your life was a movie and there was perhaps a formative experience early on or whatnot, where does your story begin? How do you go from where you've been to where you are now?
That's really good. So first of all, I'm a 40-year corporate vet, and so I have to always go, yeah, that's 40, and I'd like to think that they were hiring me when I was 9, just kind of stay in that neighborhood. But at the end of the day, I got the golden handshake, and when I got that golden handshake almost 5 years ago now, I said to myself, what am I gonna do? So I blew the dust off of my exit strategy, and that is why I tell people you need an exit strategy even if you work in corporate America, because one day you might get the golden handshake, right? And so I blew the dust off of that, but it wasn't to be in TV. It was to be a life and leadership coach and help women transform their lives, and to be a motivational and inspirational speaker, and to write a couple of best-selling books, and I did all those things. But one day something happened.
So what was your corporate background? I'm curious. Like, what was the discipline that you came out of from corporate America?
Well, I always had a seat at the boardroom table. So let me just say that I always had very senior positions, but it ranged from various different things. I was, the director of HR for many years. I was the director of sales. I was the national VP of sales. I mean, I've done a lot of different things. I even got to construct a 6-story building.
Wow. Okay.
And I have no construction background.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm used to that kind of blue rose moment, this unfamiliar territory, and really making something out of that.
I've heard you talk about this blue rose moment. What do you mean by that?
Julian, I think in our lifetime that we are going to have what I consider to be uncommon. It's not conventional. It's that thing that maybe isn't mainstream. Everybody's not doing it. I think we're presented with those kind of moments throughout our life. And I call it your blue rose moment. And you have the option. You can either take the blue rose moment and be willing to walk in faith, or you say, no, I'm not ready for that yet. And I can think of, in my lifetime, there's been some times I'll say, nah, I ain't ready for that yet. So.
I'm assuming the golden handshake was a blue rose moment for you. Would that be fair to say?
It was a blue rose moment. While everybody else was crying, I was skipping.
You were skipping. Well, I was curious about the emotions you were feeling when that happened. I certainly I've parted ways with a company in the past before, which I didn't want to happen, and it was not a great positive experience.
Yeah.
So what were you feeling, and how did you start to begin to carve out a path for what you're going to do next?
I think, again, the exit strategy.
Yeah.
I believe you develop an exit strategy in good times, not when something bad happens to you. Because,
Right.
if you get laid off, then you're like, oh my God, I got to make money. I got to do this. And you don't think well.
Yeah.
I believe you think better in good times. So I had developed an exit strategy, and I had begun implementing portions of that exit strategy while I was still being paid by corporate. So at night, I had my coaching, and I would coach clients from 6 to 8 p.m. 3 times a week.
Gotcha.
So I had already stood up something that when that moment occurred, whether they did it, and helped me out the door, or whether I decided to leave out the door, I was ready.
I love it. Okay, so you sort of maybe saw the writing on the wall months down the road and then started preparing?
No, actually, about 7 years before it ever happened.
Oh.
I didn't see any writing on the wall, but there was this thing inside of me that says, you need to develop your next evolution of who you're going to be, Zondra. This does not define you. This is not who you are. You're getting older, and you're going to have this next evolution in your life. What is that going to be about? And I've been passionate for years to coach and mentor people. So I got the company I was working for to pay for my coaching certification while I was still working there. I said, okay, that's good, because you know why?
Yeah.
I was coaching your people every day. So
Yeah.
you should invest differentially in me and allow me to get my coaching certification. So I got that coaching certification as a part of my individual development plan.
I love it. I love it. And another thing that draws me very close to your story, in the sense that, I worked in corporate for 12 years, but I was very entrepreneurial for the entire time that I've been there. What was that yearning for you to start to do something different? Do you remember, you mentioned a calling or whatnot, right?
Yes.
How did you know to first start building a kind of a side hustle, maybe to practice entrepreneurship, I guess?
I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I've been had a side hustle. I mean, I'm a side hustle kind of chick.
Sure.
40 years in corporate America, but I could think about that 40 years, and I always had some hustle on the side. I don't care. I mean, I built a jewelry company and created a multi-level marketing company out of it, and had reps all over that they were getting reps, and they were selling jewelry. And then one day I realized I cannot keep up with this inventory. What am I doing? I have a full-time job, and I have reps that are selling. So I've always been entrepreneurial. I think it's in my DNA, to do that. So.
I see that. So where did this interest or this love for media come into play? How did that come into your life?
I promise you. Everything could be a long story. Look, just like, let me have that stay in school moment. Anything could be a long story. But at the end of the day, I never thought I'd be in media. But what happened is I hired a PR coach.
Okay.
And she promised me I could get on bigger stages. Because at that time, 5 years ago, I just wanted to get on bigger stages with a mic in my hand, and I'd inspire and motivate you to live the life that you deserve. And literally the next day, I was on stage because of her. So I said, this is it. You know how you just believe this is it?
Yeah.
But she started booking me on TV and radio, and they loved me. And they started asking me to come back and to come back and to come back. And I was like, they love me. And at first, you're just like, oh, I love it. I'm doing these interviews and they love me. But then I realized that I probably got about $25,000 worth of free media because they loved me. And then the moment happened. Everybody needs a vision board. And I don't believe in vision boards with white sandy beaches and umbrella drinks. You don't need a vision board for that. You just go on and make that happen. But my vision board had one thing left to do, and it was Fireside Chat with Zondra. And I heard a voice again that said, film it professionally. And I was like, why? It's just going to go on YouTube or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I heard it again. So I hired a production crew, and I turned my house into a studio, and I filmed 2 episodes. And those 2 episodes ended up getting me to Comcast Cable, ended up getting me onto other streaming platforms, and that's how it all happened.
I love it. And that is the genesis story of the Zondra TV network.
It is.
Wow. So, the show is called Pathways to Success, and I think one of the best ways to inspire people to their own pathway to success is showcasing examples of people who have done great things and walking through their stories. So what do you think it is about you that has allowed you to succeed, to face your failure, to face fear, to overcome failures, to carve out this path? What should we learn from Zondra?
It's a couple of things. I mean, when I think about it, I think you have to be courageously intentional.
Yeah.
We talk about being intentional, but courageous intention means that you are literally willing to stretch out and do the uncommon. Yeah. And so that's why I talk about a blue rose, right? The reason why I talk about the blue rose is because it's not common. It exists, but we're used to seeing red, yellow, and white roses. But when that blue rose shows up, it's like, how's it gonna fit in with these red, yellow, and white roses? It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's that uncommon thing. So I think being courageously intentional for me, to walk in faith, because I'm walking in pure faith. Sometimes I don't know exactly where it's gonna end up. So willing to go on that faith walk, believing in yourself. Mm-hmm. Because you're the most valuable asset and the true resource. At the end of the day, it's about you. And then be willing to be courageously intentional.
For those who may struggle with self-esteem issues, who don't necessarily believe in themselves to where they could, what are some things that they could do to start to boost that esteem?
I'm not a real, a lot of people say, oh, have positive affirmations every day.
Yeah.
Well, if you got positive affirmations and don't believe them, what good are they? And I think a lot of people write affirmations and they kind of don't believe it. So for me, I say that if you don't do anything but these two things to understand who you are and why you're here, and that is spending quality time with you one-on-one, and it's a couple of times a day that happens. When you brush your teeth in the morning, when you brush your teeth at night, you're usually standing in front of a mirror. Your eyes are the window to your soul. Ask yourself, who am I and why am I here? And you're going to hear who you are and why you're here. And when you do, that's when courageous intent needs to kick in and you serve the world who you are and why you're here.
I love it. I love it. Zondra, we're going to take a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsors. Before we do that, I want to give a shout out to Nico, to Billy, to Jen, who's got a great personal brand. Everyone go check out Jen. Feel free to type in your social contacts here. Thank you for supporting the show. And when we return, Zondra Evans, Keys to Success. We'll be talking about all things media, how to use it to grow your business.
You want to transition out of your career and do something tech related. CodeUp is the place for you. When I came to CodeUp, I was actually working at a chain hair salon. It was just starting not to be for me anymore. My goals were to never work a weekend ever again, to have full health care and benefits, and to just have more time with my son. And now I've met all of those goals. I don't have any regrets. I just regret not coming sooner when I saw those billboards when I was driving down the highway.
And we're back with Zondra Evans and her keys to success. So Zondra, I know one of the things that you are very passionate about preaching when it comes to success in business is maximizing your digital footprint. So for everyone watching, what is your definition of a digital footprint and why should it matter to us in 2021?
Yeah, it matters a great deal in 2021. And it always has mattered, but I think what happened in 2020 really elevated that message of if you don't have a digital footprint that's solid, how will people find you as a small business? I'm a small business advocate, and I believe that your Google search needs to be shored up so that people can find you. Well, how does that really happen? That happens in a numerous amount of ways. And so I've seen Google even transition over time, right? It didn't used to be a whole bunch of videos, and they have now different columns, like there's news, there's your all, there's videos, there's, articles. There's a lot of information out there. I believe that you have to strengthen your digital footprint so that it's undeniable that when you put in Zondra TV Network, I'm the first 10 or 15 pages. It's undeniable. I capitalize on that market. So I teach people how to become undeniable, that you are the resource that they're looking for. And so SEO is important.
So you're working with a small business owner and they literally have zero digital footprint. Are there specific platforms that you would recommend that they first invest into?
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. There's two things that I think. If you read articles, sometimes it'll say, old-fashioned press release, nobody's doing that anymore. That's not good. it's the best thing to start your digital footprint, and it's probably the most cost-effective marketing that you could do. So we really do tell people you need press release. If you don't tell people you're in business, who's gonna know? And then everything that occurs in your life, tell some more business in the street, because that then creates that footprint for you. Oh, they were featured on TV about this. They were featured in this article about this. They were here. So that's one. The second thing is online digital advertisements. It's real. And if it could be proximity marketing that could tell you in this zip code, X amount of people are going to see you that are either on their phone, their tablet, or the laptop. That's going to help to also socialize your footprint digitally. But the third thing is you got to be on TV.
You got to be on TV.
You got to be on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, and not just any TV. Streaming TV, not because I own streaming TV, but because I'm telling you that people are ingesting information through on demand, and you own your content, and then you can, market with that content. It's the best landscape for repurposing.
Yeah.
But what happens is that gets socialized in all of your digital footprint.
So, and for me, the definition is sort of changing. How do you define what television actually is nowadays?
Television for me is anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
And if I can't tune in anytime, anywhere, you're antiquated. So I always give the linear TV example. Linear TV does still exist, but it's getting smaller and smaller. But if you think about linear TV, do you have a VCR?
I do not have a
Okay,
VCR.
right.
Yeah.
So then that means that if you have a show that is only programmed at 9 p.m. and it only comes on at 9, but yet you wanted to go out with your friends at 9, you don't have a VCR, how do you catch that show?
Yeah.
Oh, is it on demand? Maybe, maybe not. But think about being able to ingest information at the time that you really want to. It could be in the middle of the night when I can't sleep. I can watch a show. That is TV now.
So streaming absolutely matters. When you hear the word TV, sometimes it feels so inaccessible, right? Especially to like a local business owner. What are the most accessible platforms for TV that a business owner can implement?
Well, I'll tell you what, Roku, Amazon, and Apple are they're the leaders. They're the leaders. Roku rung the bell in January on the NASDAQ. And then I said, if Roku rung the bell, I'm going to ring the bell. So let me just say that. But, here's the thing. Ingesting TV now is not what you think. And we look at the screen and go like, okay, is this what you mean? Like looking at TV? No, it's the reason why phones are larger than ever before right now is because people are ingesting movies from, streaming on their phone. I went out 5 years ago when I was telling people, listen, everybody's gonna be on their phone and they're gonna be ingesting TV on their phone. And people were looking at me like, girl, go get a job. And I was like, it's going to be true, right? And now it is. Phone, tablet, laptop. And then guess what? And I could kick up my feed at the end of the day and I can on demand look at it on my big screen TV.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely makes sense. I have a comment in here from Jen. Jen says, loving Zondra's visions reminds me of Steve Harvey's speech on having a vision board. So powerful. So thank you, Jen, for your comment. That's amazing. So,
Thank you.
So we covered the streaming piece and the importance of it being visible to your prospects, to your customers, to any partners, right? So as a business owner, what do I put on TV? Do I make a show? Is it a reality show? Is it just an ad? Like, what do I put out there?
Well, you have so many different ways to enter into streaming. The number one way is, yes, I have a message. I want to get it out. I can become a TV producer. And once you become a TV producer, then you're into that monetizing lane, where you could have pay-per-view, where you could have subscription, where you could do appearance fees, where you could have commercial advertisements, you could have title sponsors, episode sponsors. It kind of goes on and on. Like you could just have this whole new revenue stream that you never thought about. People have not thought about it. So I always say I feel like I'm George Clinton, that had the purple and the pink hair in the early 70s. Everybody, he's on drugs, something wrong with him. I feel the same way, like I'm talking foreign to people, but this is the reality of how you're gonna live your life. So that's one way. But let's say that I'm just a small business. Why shouldn't you be able to have a commercial advertisement on TV?
Yeah.
And why shouldn't you be able to take that same commercial and stream it across every platform, social media-wise? And why shouldn't I be able to take that same commercial and drop it in an online digital advertisement?
Yeah.
And by the way, why shouldn't I take that same commercial and put it in a landing page so people get to know about me?
There's a bunch of different ways to sort of repurpose the existing content.
Yeah, and
right?
that's what we're teaching. Look, it might cost you $1,000 or $2,000, but at the end of the day, you want to pay that because it's going to stretch out over the year for you. You're going to be beating that message. How many times? Now you're in the same area that I'm in, which is media. How many times do people need to see you before they believe that they may need to do business with you now?
It's 7 to 10 times, something like that.
It's like 15 to 20.
15 to 20. Yeah.
15 to 20. So think about that. But you can own that people can see that 15 to 20 times because you can be very deliberate about it. And by the way, take that same video and put it in an email campaign. But it's all professionally done, and it's really with that strong call to action. Because we're doing stuff now, but it's, sometimes it's not as strong as it needs to be. The quality isn't there. And I'm all about giving a quality product. So
I know a big piece that prevents a lot of business owners from creating content is like the technical aspects and the hardware. What all is involved in that in terms of producing a show or whatnot?
Yeah, well, of course, we have a studio here in Dallas, and you can come into the studio and produce your shows. You can come into the studio and get a TV interview.
Yeah.
And then we can do the same thing that I just talked about for a commercial advertisement. But Zoom technology and different technologies like that we're used to doing virtual with, it also works for you to be on TV with that. You just got to make sure you get some ancillary equipment that's going to give you a good view, like a webcam and some other things.
Yeah.
And you can do it right from your desktop in your own home with your own backdrop and produce your own shows.
Gotcha.
And so I do have people that do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So when it comes to producing media for business owners, then there's one aspect, which is the show. Do you do much when it comes to social media as well in terms of micro content and things like that, or?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Our belief is, be the change that you want to see, but we say, no, we are the change that you will experience.
Yeah.
Because experience is what we need as small business. So when you come to work with us, we're going to give you a taste of all of the marketing concepts. We're going to create a landing page for you. We're going to create a social media campaign for you with a reel that really promotes the best side of you.
Yeah.
We're going to show you how to post that as a signature in your email. We're going to show you how to take the stamp that says, I've been featured on Zondra TV Network, and put that on your website. We're going to teach you, because I think that we perish as small business because of lack of knowledge, and we don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But if we can make it affordable and we're within reach, why wouldn't you?
So let's give our audience a few tips right now, some actual tips in terms of things that they could do. What are you seeing as kinds of content that we could make organically that actually does attract our customer, break people's attention span, and draws them to our business?
Yeah, let me tell you, if you're a small business, there's a couple of things. If you are not doing photo shoots, you need to, because photos really, really speak to who you are.
Yeah.
People want to look at you, see your eyes, which is the window to your soul, right? So I think that that's important. But here's the other thing. Impromptu video with your phone. I mean, I was doing that
right
before we started.
Went live,
you just say, hey, that impromptu video is really powerful. And now we have things on our phones like maybe iMovie that would let you do some different things with that, right? And you post that. But people want to know the real side of you. Like, people ask me, but do you ever have any bad days? If you don't believe that crocodile tears will fall down this face,
yeah.
And there are challenges. But are you willing to tell it? So telling your story is really important. And it's not just the good story, it's the full story.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could do that, and that doesn't cost you no money.
Yeah. When it comes to specifically social media posting, like the micro content, the small videos, and also pictures, how should a business owner look at what should I do organically versus what should I pay to promote? How should someone kind of allocate that budget?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So I think that your organic post should be a good, 40 to 50% of what you do.
40 to 50%. Okay.
But
Yeah.
you have to up your game. But you gotta weave in that quality thing
Yeah.
that says, it's good to have 40, 50% of, hey, this is what I did, this is what's going on, and to promote like that. It's good to have static posts. So when I say 40%, I'm talking about static posts as well. I'm talking about maybe some photo shots and, sharing some things about who you are. But you still have to have that professional piece that goes, here, this is a professional interview. I'm on TV. I have been featured, on ABC, NBC, and CBS, and read the article about me. So you need that professional piece to solidify your brand because if you think about Google, it picks up things like CBS, NBC. So it's nice to be featured by those professional brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that something you do as well? Like how, I know I've heard some people saying they have a process to like get in the news and get on like media spots. How does one start to even think and approach to get featured on these big media outlets?
Welcome to beyondZTV.com.
Yeah.
I mean, we do that. We're a full service marketing and advertisement company. And so we do that for you. We do it less than anybody in the industry.
Yeah.
And I could say that because I've done my research. So we do that. We help you position yourself in the media so that there is a pickup of your story.
Yeah.
And it's one thing. A lot of people write a press release and go, yeah, I had a press release written on me. And I said, well, what did you do with it? I think I put it on my website. And I'm like, oh, my God. Okay, there's more to it than that. All of these social landscapes need to know that you were featured.
Yeah.
And you need to do that over and over and over again to the point that it almost seems like ridiculous. Like, did I just post that like 3 weeks ago? Yeah. Post it again. Because why? The algorithms change.
Yeah. Give us some tips. You have obviously been in the media now for a very long time, and sometimes it's a skill that I think you have to learn. What are the best tips that you could teach your audience in terms of how do I present myself on camera, on video, on pictures, in media?
Yeah, it is the thing that I will say. You got to become one with the camera. And, I'm becoming one with the camera right now. You got to be able to talk to the camera. And when I first started, I didn't know how to become one with the camera. It would take me 666 takes to do one video with my phone. And because I was looking over here and I was over there and I was everywhere. But you got to become one with the camera and you got to become relatable. Like, just be relatable. And how do you be relatable? It's just be yourself. Become one with your camera and become good at it. And here's a tip I'll tell you about your laptop. Start on your laptop. Put the person that you care about the most. So what I did is I put my kids on the top, on the other side of my laptop, and I would look at them and I would talk to them because I could talk to them with this genuineness that it's my children that I'm telling this message to. And that's what made me become one with the camera.
Yeah, I love it. And it really does feel, honestly, I look at the landscape and I just see how everyone consumes information now through screens.
Yeah.
This whole social media stuff, it's not going away. It's not just a fad. It's not just a gimmick. There's a utility to it. It really is about building a personal brand, a way for people to sort of get to know who you are and what you do without them ever meeting you. And that is a powerful, powerful asset that everyone could utilize, I think, corporate or entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You touched on this a little bit, and I'm very curious about that. You said that old media has now become new again. You talked about the press release.
Yeah.
What are some other examples of that?
Yeah, so that's one example of it. The other one is, and I wouldn't even call it old media because it's kind of new media, but it is kind of old, just flat out writing.
Writing. Okay.
Just flat out writing.
Okay,
do you
tell me more about this.
Well, because I think about it. Again, I'm a baby boomer with millennial tendencies, so y'all may not want to listen to everything I got to say. It might not be right, but here's the thing. Before there was email, before there was any other way to communicate, do you know that we had to write letters?
Like actual handwritten letters?
Like handwritten letters. They don't even teach cursive in school anymore.
They don't teach cursive anymore. You're right. That was like a big thing. That was like an entire semester in elementary school.
Come on, they don't even teach cursive anymore.
Yeah.
But you had to write. And there is something about writing that cannot be replaced even with video.
Are you talking about actually physically
I'm
handwriting?
talking physically.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
not physically writing, but writing
practice of-
is why people have journals, right?
Sure.
But there's something that happens between a pen and a paper that is different than just me talking about it.
Yeah.
So I'm giving a shout out to the bloggers because people that blog and write, there's something rich that happens in that writing,
Yeah.
but it's not new. It's really something old that we did all our lives, was to write, to communicate your passion through writing. That's a whole nother. So blogging is new, but not really new, but it's really an old technique. It's writing.
Yeah. You know, as far as that, writing has never been my strength. But I can talk into a camera and I can transcribe it or
Yes.
whatnot, right? Writing to me feels so high pressure because it's supposed to be the end result of your best thinking. And I think that's why sometimes people have apprehension for it. But I absolutely agree with that because clear writing is a representation of clear thought. So I totally get that.
Total clear thought. But
Yeah.
not only that, writing helps you to get in touch with your emotion.
Yeah.
Because you have to write an emotion. Sometimes you have to write an emotion for somebody to be able to pick it up and read it and get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, that's why blogging. I mean, I think it's an old thing that we didn't turn new. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Blogging. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Powerful collaboration strategies. What do you mean by this?
I believe in brand extension. So
Yeah.
let me just say, brand extension is the way to go. And I believe that you find the right collaborative partners. And so what I mean by that is, why should I, develop a magazine if I found someone that's doing it with excellence? How about if I just collaborate with you?
Okay.
And that allows me to put my clients on the cover of a magazine or put you in the magazine. And what am I doing? I'm helping your digital footprint. So I believe in the right collaborations and extending your brand. I don't want to build everything. I am a TV network. I develop producers. I take small businesses and help them to become TV producers, and I'm good at that. I'm also good at my talk show host. I love doing that. But I don't need to own a magazine, so let me find somebody that owns a magazine that would love to be able to have TV distribution if you give me that print distribution.
How do you go about seeking collaborations, would you say?
Well, I'll be watching people all the
All the
time.
time.
You have to watch people. I mean, I just did a collaboration agreement with DreamSpire TV. They're out of Atlanta.
Okay.
I've been watching them, and I actually was on one of their shows. They interviewed me, and the owner of DreamSpire said, I don't normally watch interviews, but you hooked me. And after you were finished, I said, I got to talk to this woman. I have to meet her. And so we met, and we kind of started, it's a gentle dance around, is this a good thing? And 3, 4, 5 months down the way, here we are as, collaboration partners. That gives me access to several magazines that I can put my clients in.
That is awesome.
And by the same token, she has 2 podcasts that are now going to be distributed on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Roku.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Zondra, something I want to discuss also when it comes to finding your pathway to success, you grow yourself as a leader, right? What is your best advice to our audience on how to do that?
How to grow yourself as a leader, I think that you have to keep learning.
Yeah.
First of all, you got to be in a place where you're willing to continue to learn. That's number one. But as a leader, and I was talking about this morning on Clubhouse, I mean, I just got through talking about this. I believe in sweet spot leadership.
What does that mean?
And that means I like to lead people in their sweet spot. That's your starting place. Like, what is your sweet spot? Instead of me trying to pigeonhole you here or do this, what's your sweet spot? And let's start there and then build from there to continue to give you additional skills training and additional responsibility. But a lot of times we don't do that. We go, I have a need for somebody to do this, and guess what? You're gonna do that. And you're like, no, that's not my sweet spot.
Yeah.
Right? So I believe in sweet spot leadership. I believe that you have to continue to learn. And if you're not learning, you're slowly but surely dying. So I'm a big learner about new technology, about new things. I always say, like, I'm a baby boomer with millennial tendencies. That's me. I got enough knowledge to be reckless. Whatever.
Zondra, I'm a big believer in the self-awareness piece as well, but someone who is trained and has helped so many people find their inner leader, how does someone find that sweet spot?
It all goes back to the same two questions. I'll never say anything different. And so you might want to say that, well, she keeps saying the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Know who you are and why you're here. Ask the questions of those two things, and then you can layer everything on top of that. But you have to ask those questions and know who you really are, right? So that I could figure out, well, where are my opportunities? Because I also don't believe in strengths and weaknesses. You know, people have talked about that in corporate America all my day. You know, here's your strengths, and then they turn around and tell you your weaknesses, and then you go like, I don't know what kind of review that was. You know, you kind of leave with mixed emotion, right? Well, I changed it when I was in corporate, and I still use it today. It's strengths and opportunities. And why? Because we are adults. It's not a weakness, it's an opportunity, and it's up to you whether or not you're willing to take on that opportunity to be better.
Yeah, I love those two questions. I really believe in self-reflection. So,
Yeah.
So Zondra, we're almost out of time here. I want to close with a few more questions just so our audience here can kind of get to know you, sort of a fun lightning round, if that's okay.
Oh, lightning, here we go.
Here we go. Zondra, what is your favorite food?
Ooh, you know, don't ask me that. Mexican.
Mexican food, okay. What are you listening to right now? What's your favorite kind of music?
Oh, gospel.
Gospel. Yeah. What role has faith played in your career?
Oh, it's on a scale of 1 to 100, it's 100.
And how has it done that?
I'm on a faith walk.
Yeah.
It's the biggest faith walk I've ever taken in my life. I am literally leading a corporation with blinders on.
And how do you deal with the challenges to your faith?
I pray a lot. You know, I don't know if you have time, but I had lost some resources, and I asked God. I was like, you know, I need some resources. He didn't send me human resources. He sent me a prayer team.
He sent your
They
prayer
pray
team.
for me every day.
Yeah. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Zondra, the show is called The Pathways to Success. What is your personal definition of success?
You know, success is your own measurement. I don't, you know, what everybody else is doing, I really could care less. But success for me is that your own measurement of success, where you want to have your life be. Because the only person that controls that is you. So to me, success, and when I look at, you know, what does that mean to me? It's the thing that I want to achieve. Like right now, I feel successful. Why? Because I have these wonderful people around me, and I'm doing things that are affecting the universe. I'm successful. If I take my last breath, I'm good.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Zondra, tell our audience about Magnetize. What is
Yeah.
Magnetize?
Magnetize. Ooh, I'm so excited. It is all of your marketing needs from A to Z.
Yeah.
We're going to teach you how to become one with the camera. We're going to teach you how to elevate your laptop so you look right on camera. We're going to send you light rings and microphones and webcams. We're going to set you up for success in a virtual environment, because even if we go back to live, virtual is still going to stay around for eons. So you need to become good at it. We're also going to teach you how to trim your videos. We're going to teach you how to do your own videos too. We want you to be successful as a small business.
I love it. And Zondra, tell us how to find out more about Magnetize and more about you. How do we connect with you on social? Tell us all that.
Listen, just go to beonztv.com. That's beonztv.com, and you'll see everything we're doing, including Magnetize.
I love it.
Yeah.
Zondra, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had a ball.
As did I. And everyone else, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of The Pathways to Success. Thank you for everyone here tuning in to the live stream as well. Big shout out to our sponsors in Code Up, City Central, Dead Soxy, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of The Pathways to Success.